Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Hungry Monkey by Heidelberg Games. This is going to be a 2 to 6 player game in which you're going to be trying to get rid of the cards in your hand. And you're going to try to get rid of the cards in front of you and be the first to do so. Let's go ahead down to the table here, and I'm going to show you how to play this game, and they're going to come back and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Alright, so this is the Hungry Monkey. Once upon a time, the Hungry Monkey lost his breakfast bean in the jungle. He searched over and over, but could not find it. He asked all the other animals to help him search for it, from the swift sparrow to the king tiger, but they all ignored his pleas. All but the tiny ant. It climbed into the tiger's ears and commanded him to help the Hungry Monkey. King Tiger was scared by the voice in his ear and chose to obey. With a thundering roar, he commanded all animals of the jungle to look for the bean, and no one dared refuse. Eventually, Swift Sparrow found the lost bean, and the Hungry Monkey was very happy with his meal. Alright, in the Hungry Monkey, we're going to be playing until we run out of cards. Now, there's going to be a mode here where we can play with the beans, and I'll go over them in a little bit, but for now, let's go ahead and we're going to go over the main game here. To start the game, you're going to shuffle up this deck of cards here, and you're going to determine how many players that you have. Based on your player count, you're going to see on the Naughty Kitty here, you're going to see these numbers here. So if it's 2-player, this is going to be the line, 3-player, 4-player, 5-player goes on the bottom. So you're going to line that line up here, and then you're going to slide it in the deck where it meets the line. So again, here's the level for 2-player, here's a level for 3-player, here's a level 4-player, and if you're playing with 5 players, you'll just simply slide it onto the bottom of the deck here, like so. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to deal out 3 cards to each player. And then you're going to deal out 4 cards in front of them. The 3 cards that were dealt out become the player's hand, and they can look at it, but they cannot look at these 4 cards. Your goal in the game is to get rid of these 4 cards and the cards in your hand. Alright, so how do you play the game? Well, in the game, you're going to take turns. So let's say this is the first player here. You're going to take turns playing your cards. The first thing you're going to do is draw a card. So I'll draw a card, and then I can play a card. Since there's no card down, I can play any card I want. Otherwise, I have to play the same number or greater than the card that's down, and if I can't, I take the stack. So in this hand, we have a couple cards with abilities, and you can denote an ability by the symbol here. So some of the cards have the symbol. So the first card I'm going to show you here is the tiny ant. Now the tiny ant has a special ability. Normally when you play a card, it has to be up higher or equal to the card that's out for it to be valid. But this card doesn't have to be valid. When you play it, you're going to take everything in the stack but the tiny ant. So you'll leave the tiny ant behind. The slender mongoose here is going to let you take another turn. So if I'm looking at my hand, I might want to actually play the tiny ant first to get it out of my hand. Now I could play any of the same number of cards. So if I had more ones, I could do that. Now the second player is going to take their turn. They're going to look at their hand. Now this one has the sneaky snake, I believe it's called. The sneaky snake here, when you play it, you'll get to peek at one of your opponent's cards that they have down. And you're not going to be able to look at those otherwise, unless you have a special ability that does that. And then you're going to run into some issues at the end of the game, which I'll show you. So I could play that, or I could play my 2 alligators, because again, they are higher than the 1 here, or I could have played equal. So I'm going to play the 2 alligators. So I'm going to get them out of my hand. Now it's this player's turn. This player is going to look at their hand here, and they're going to draw another card. So to start their turn. Now a couple new cards showed up here. This number 2 is very interesting here. The number 2 here is the Swift Sparrow. Now what happens with the Swift Sparrow is when I play this, and if it's valid, I could take a card from my hand and swap it with one of the cards in front of me, thereby knowing what the card is, hopefully remembering. The other card that I have in here that you haven't seen here is the Hungry Monkey. The Hungry Monkey is always valid. It just copies the card that it puts on, that you put it on. So if I put it on this, it becomes a 6. Now, if that card had a special ability, it would also do it. So in my hand, I have a 1, 2, 4, and a monkey. So I can't play anything but the monkey, so I'll go ahead and play the monkey down. Now it'll be this player's turn. They'll go ahead and draw a card. Now, if I play the 6th alligator here, it's called a gang. So if you play 4 of any type, so I play the 6 of alligators, so I have 4 alligators here, I'll have a gang, and this will get discarded from the game. So I no longer have to worry about that deck. Now this player will go, draw up a card, got another sneaky snake, and they're going to play 2 of their sneaky snakes, and they'll be able to look at an opponent's card. And that's how the game is going to go by until the naughty kitty is revealed. So this naughty kitty here is revealed. Once that's revealed, we will no longer be drawing cards, but we're going to continue on. So I'm going to show a couple more cards that you didn't see yet in this game. You're going to have the King Tiger. When you play the King Tiger, it's 11, so it's always going to be valid, but it's going to discard all the cards, including the King Tiger, so it can get rid of the deck that way too. Another card I don't think we've seen is there's the Strong Buffalo. Now the Strong Buffalo is interesting. The next player has to play a number lower instead of higher than this card played. So that is a cool card to throw down to throw things around a little bit. So those are different cards in here. So what we're going to do towards the end of the game here. So the deck ran out, let's say. Now each player is going to work to get rid of the cards in their hand. So they're either going to attempt to get rid of those cards. Now remember, so let's say it comes around to this player, and it's this player's turn, and this player has a 2 and a 1. Now the 1 ant has a special ability, but let's play they don't have that and they only have the 2. So they have nothing equal to or higher than the 4. They would have to take the entire stack into their hand. And that happens anytime in the game. I just wanted to clarify that part to make sure you knew. And once you get rid of all the cards in your hand, so let's say I play this card down, then you can start playing these cards. So when it comes back around to me, no one's drawing because we made it to the naughty kitty. I can try to play one of these cards. So I play this card. Oh, it did work. So that got rid of that stack. Then when it comes back to around to me again, I can try another one, and that may or may not work. And you're trying to get rid of these cards here. Once you've got rid of the cards in your hand and you've got rid of the cards in front of you, you'll win the game, as long as you were the first person to do that. Now there's a bean variant in the game where you can have 2s and 3 beans. You'll shuffle into here, and you'll have 1 beans here. In the bean variant, you're going to give each player a bean. So each player is going to start with 1 bean, and you're going to go over 4 games. So you won't get any more starting beans, but you can win beans at the end of trick. The way this is going to work is at the end of each round, the first player is going to draw one of these cards. And this is from the 2 or 3 bean pile, so you could get 2 or 3 beans. The second player is going to draw 1 bean here, second player to go out. The third player will get 1 bean card, and then the fourth player will lose a bean card. And that's how you're going to score the beans at the end of each of these rounds. You're going to go over the 4 games here, and the person with the most beans at the end of the game is going to win. Now, one caveat here is at the start of the next round, the player who lost the last game will be the first player for the next round. And like I said, you'll continue on through your 4th round, and the player with the most beans at the end of the game will win, and ties are friendly. And that's going to be how you play Hungry Monkey. Let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this game. All right, so that was Hungry Monkey. Hungry Monkey card component quality is good in this game. The cards are going to last a good long time in it, and they're good quality. The gameplay itself is a lot of fun. This is going to be a game that you're going to play probably with younger kids there. This game is fairly simple, has some really interesting, fun effects on there, and when playing it with my kids really enjoyed the game a lot. In fact, to the point where they just want to keep playing it over and over again. So that's going to be a mark of a good game for me. So this game is going to be like a family weight game, very simple as you see to teach and very simple to play through. And it's going to be one of those games that's going to be geared more for the younger audience. And if you fit in any of that, I would highly recommend checking out Hungry Monkey. And that's my thoughts on it. Thank you for watching.